you don't have to be a rocket scientist to realise that it's almost certainly a terrorist attack.
2 people have died after a suspected terror attack outside a synagogue in Cromsall, Manchester, by a man who was then shot dead by police, Greater Manchester Police have said. Police were called to the Heaton Park Synagogue at 9:30 this morning by somebody who witnessed a car being driven towards a member of the public and one man being stabbed. It's been described as a suspected terrorist attack by Greater Manchester Police. Let's speak to Chris Phillips now. He's a former head of the National Counter Terrorism Security Office. Chris, thanks for being with us.
Welcome.
Look, it's obviously too early to say for certain whether this is a terror attack, but it looks an awful lot like the sort of attack we've become all too familiar with, doesn't it?
Yeah, unfortunately, Hugo, it has bears all the hallmarks of a terrorist attack. It's at a religious site, which is generally one of the main attack locations. Operation Plato was called actually by the responding officers, which means that they thought it was a marauding terrorist attack. And of course, today is the religious day for the Jewish community, Yom Kippur. So all these things put together, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to realise that it's almost certainly a terrorist attack.
I mean, one would assume that presumably on a sort of central basis, one of the first ways after the immediate incident is dealt with, that counter-terrorism policing response to something like this is trying to figure out whether this is part of some greater pattern, whether there are about to be more attacks. What will have been sort of swung into process as part of Operation Plato happening?
Well, Operation Plato is really about the marauding attack. So that gives police certain powers or gives them authorities to deal with it as they feel fit. Of course, you're absolutely right. The biggest concern actually is that this is one of a number that are going off maybe today. So I think police right around the country will be paying specific attention to all the synagogues and any other religious Jewish religious site. This is not unusual that attacks take place at highly religious days, big religious days. And the police and the CST, the security trust that look after the Jewish community, would have been very aware of that and would have posted security teams outside.
I mean, from what we understand, the police got there extremely quickly. Presumably, they will have been, sort of to some extent on high alert for this kind of event on this kind of day.
It would have been in the back of the mind, whether it was part of their planning to actually be nearby, I don't know. But it was quite a brilliant response within minutes. I mean, lives will definitely have been saved by this. Unfortunately, there are some victims. The ability for police to respond with firearms so quickly is unusual in the UK. So we can only celebrate the fact that they were able to get there and prevent many more deaths.
Look, we understand that a bomb disposal unit is now at the scene, according to Greater Manchester Police. Can we take from that there almost certainly was a bomb there, or would that be a kind of a standard precaution in this kind of situation?
Well, the video that I've seen, the horrific video that I saw of the incident, shows that there was something strapped to the man, and I think that's why the police ended up shooting him a second time, because there was a real fear that he had a device strapped to him which he was about to explode. So clearly, to deal with any explosive device, you need specialists, and that's what the military do for us. They'll be going in to just try to make safe any device that he had attached to his body.
Look, part of your role when you were head of the National Counter Terrorism Security Office was the protection of crowded places. This, of course, was a crowded place. What kind of measures can be taken at a crowded place to keep people safe, or at least safer?
Well, I mean, there are many, and you're absolutely right. We identified religious sites as being the location of numerous terrorism attacks across the world. Synagogues in particular. Synagogues on their own really have taken security in their own hands. They have the community security trusts that do a magnificent amount of work keeping their people safe. But synagogues are the most defended sites, religious sites. We've seen attacks in Sri Lanka with bombs, and we've seen right across France, we've seen cathedrals being attacked, etc. The community security trusts do a great job within synagogues. What I'd like to see is all religious sites taking security a little bit more seriously. It's nice to think that they should be open places, open and available for anyone to go in, but when there's a large number of people in there, it's very important that those people are kept safe.
Look, Chris, finally, Keir Starmer is flying home to convene a COBRA meeting, we know. What's the role for the government in a situation like this?
Well, their job is to oversee the operation right across the country to make sure that all synagogues, the Jewish community in particular, feel as though they're being secured, and that if this does turn out to be one of a series of events, then the police are able to give a good response. And of course, the wheels of government should help the police to do that, and along with the other emergency services.
Yeah, thank you very much indeed. That is Chris Phillips there, the former head of the National Counter Terrorism Security Office.
The attack in Manchester this morning is absolutely shocking, and all of our thoughts are with those affected. I'm on my way back to London. When I arrive, I will chair an emergency COBRA meeting. I'm already able to say that additional police assets are being deployed to synagogues across the country, and we will do everything to keep our Jewish community safe. I've spoken to Mark Gardner of the CST and Andy Burnham, Mayor of Manchester, and I want to thank the emergency services for the speed of their response.
Where's your office?
Can't talk, mate.
Yes. All right. All right.
Come down and see
What's up? Okay, so there, she's back.
At this time of year when Jewish people across the world are commemorating Yom Kippur, it's incredibly worrying. We've seen this awful attack on a synagogue in Manchester. I've been in contact with the Mayor of Manchester, Andy Burnham, with the Home Secretary and with the police. The Met Police Service will be stepping up high visibility policing in and around synagogues in London. I know, as it is, Jewish people have been scared and feeling scared over the last few months, indeed since October the 7th, 2023. I also know many want to go to the synagogue and worship. I want to reassure them that in London they will be seeing additional police officers. People should be allowed to go about and practice their faith, knowing they're going to be safe. Unfortunately, too many Jewish Londoners, Jewish people across the country, Jewish people across the globe don't feel that way, and that's heartbreaking.